So to start with, I just want to say that I was introduced to this band as I am a big power metal fan. So the drummer Alex Landenberg is kind of how I discovered it, because I listened to Raspberry and I guess Cyhra was recommended to me when they first released Letters to Myself. Now, Halos in Hell is a pretty lengthy album, totaling 18 tracks over 1 hour 12 minutes. So, to start with, this album I have some issues with. Overall, it's a pretty good listen, but it does suffer from one major problem, and that is the amount of tracks. This album is, I would say, 4 tracks too long, as I feel that I Had Your Back was a good stopping point and a solid end, and I found the other 4 tracks, Hit Me, Man of Eternity, Kings and Queens, and Lies, to be between kind of enjoyable and boring. In these cases, I found Hit Me to be kind of boring, and the other ones just quite middling. I wasn't really enjoying them, as they suffered from the same problem, and that is that they were just sounded kind of similar. Like, this album, as I said, has 14 major tracks, and a lot of them do sound quite similar to each other. With, I think, these songs, apart from Hit Me, just suffering from fatigue from just sheer amount of songs. And I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't fully listen to Lies, as well as the final 3 songs in the album, which I'll get to kind of towards the end. I found Hit Me, it just wasn't for me. I just ended up finding it kind of boring. I wasn't really feeling it. The song wasn't badly written or anything like that. I just ended up, it just wasn't my thing. And as I've, mentioned to the other 3 final tracks of the album, I just, wasn't really into them. They were just kind of samey. Now, from Out of My Life to I Had Your Back, there was some good stuff in there. I ended up enjoying, I would say, the first half of this album way more than the second half. There was some good variation with quite a fair amount of track highlights for me, and they were Battle From Within, Bye Bye Forever, Lost in Time, and Kings Tonight. So to start off with, Battle From Within is a softer song, and from the way that the tracks have been laid out, this is the first variation in the album, and it's welcomed. I ended up, as I said, really enjoying this song. I liked the softer parts, and it kind of transitions at a later point into a small acoustic section, which will happen throughout some of the songs in the later parts of this album. Throw in some good keyboard work, and you have a song that is varied from start to finish with a small break. Second up is Bye Bye Forever, and this song immediately draws your attention with some bassy drums at the start. These will occasionally come in throughout the rest of the song. Throw in a faster set of vocals this time, alongside a smaller acoustic section to add that contrast again. And this is a fast, catchy song with a bit more of aggression in the keyboard usage, and adding that all together, just this big kind of over the top song, and I ended up really enjoying it. Third up is Lost in Time, and this is a ballad. This has the lead singer alongside it, pianos kind of taking the spotlight, and this song might not be for everyone, but with all the previous songs, for me, the song is perfectly placed, as it, has that much needed break from all these heavier and faster songs, and just having that slower song that you just need to kind of make the album flow a little bit better. It's well needed. What else can I say? I'm a big fan of these ballady songs, so whenever I find one that I enjoy, I'm gonna mention it to you, even if it ain't your thing. And to end off my highlights is Kings Tonight. Now this song has that contrasting elements to it, and instead of having fast-paced sections with a slow-paced section, it's fast-paced, more power synthy style, like, versus contrasting with more traditional heavy metal choruses that is, a little bit more industrial and a little bit more new. Although I wouldn't say new, just kind of gave me that hint of new in the chorus. And the song works very well, contrasting against each other. They flow from section to section well. It's another one of those songs I would say is kind of catchy, has, catchy guitar riffs, it has catchy keyboard sections. Vocals, maybe not so much, but overall, as a song, it's, just a joy to listen to. Now, with the title track and the single Out of My Life, those songs to me were very just the first album. Out of My Life was kind of that Letters to Myself calmer feel, and I had a Letters to Myself feel with the title track of this album. I thought they were good, but they weren't really a highlight to me. Now let me talk about the bonus songs on this album, which is a variation of Lost in Time and 3 acoustic songs. To start off with Lost in Time, the main difference of this one is, well, in the name it says Lost in Time full band, and all that means is instead of the piano being the main instrument, all the other band members kick in, and they kind of slowly kick in, so they slowly roll in. Ain't too bad of a variation of the song. Honestly, when I was listening to this, it kind of felt like the previous songs, like Lies and Man of Eternity on the album, so I had to kind of go back and re-listen to Lost in Time to really check the differences, because I was kind of getting a bit bored of these songs, and to be honest, I kind of got a bit bored of Lost in Time full band version. And with the acoustic songs being Dreams Gone Wrong, Kings Tonight, and I Am the One, they're just acoustic versions that are kind of similar to Lost in Time. I found them alright, but honestly, I just kind of ended up skimming through them. I wasn't really into them, they weren't for me. So to summarize, this album is way too long. They could easily cut out the final 8 tracks of this album, and I would have rated this album higher. I'll tell you now, I would have given this album probably like an 8.6, an 8.7, but with those added 8 tracks, I'm gonna heavily drop this to a 7.4. This album suffers from a major problem, and that major problem is a lot of these songs sound quite similar to each other, and I ended up getting really bored of this album quite quickly. And the reason I'm putting this album kind of as high as it is because of those highlight songs. I ended up really enjoying those, and there was some great variation, from those highlight songs, as well as the first 10. It's just that the later half was just boring to me. I couldn't get into them. They felt similar. I ended up really not liking Hit Me. And honestly, if I do go back and listen to this album, which I probably will this week, I'm probably going to stop at that 10th track and then just not listen to the rest. Just pretend like it doesn't exist. And I think you should do the same as well. Okay, so if you've made it to the end of this video, I'm going to ask you something. Can you give me feedback on these album reviews or just any of my content that I've been uploading? I haven't really got any, and I kind of want to know on what I can improve. So I'm sorry you're going to have to deal with this black screen in the background. I know I'm not, making the footage kind of loop or whatever, but I want to know. You can either private message me or, comment on any of the videos and just say. I don't get hardly any comments, so I'm gonna, easily read them, and I'll, respond to you. So if you can, give me that feedback. And I know I'm gonna ask this, if you ended up enjoying this content, please subscribe. I've been enjoying doing these YouTube videos. I started in September, and I recently hit, I know this to a lot of people will seem small, 250 views this month, and that has really given me motivation. I know I haven't gained in subscribers, and I know not all of my videos get, tons of views, but I just, want to see if I can make something out of this. So if you do end up enjoying, please, dropping a sub would be nice, and maybe leaving a comment on how I could improve, because I want to see where this goes. It's kind of one of my dream things to show music that I enjoy. I'm sitting on a ton of artists that I want to show to a lot of people, but unfortunately my channel's too small, so I'm kind of holding back on them. Like, I want to get a big audience so I can show these weirder bands that I feel a lot of people would like, or maybe, be a person that can show, people that genuinely listen to a lot of metal or a lot of power metal, these smaller bands that are, really making a name for themselves, and kind of really push them into the public eye, kind of, so to speak. So, thank you for watching. I know most of my videos I don't say that. I think I've only really said that in like maybe one or two. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment on how I can improve these, and if you enjoyed, consider subscribing.